Hey friends, thank you for watching this video. I am Mohamad and today we're gonna be continuing our journey in building our Saha API. Today we're gonna be upgrading our project from .NET 5 to .NET 6. We're gonna be implementing some of the new features that .NET 6 provide, like the new namespaces. As well, we're gonna be removing the startup class and migrating everything into the program.cs. As well, we're gonna be updating some of the packages to make sure they are all compatible. So, let's get started. So basically, migrating our application from .NET 5 to .NET 6 is going to be a relatively straightforward application. We're going to be taking advantage of some of the new features that .NET 6 has provided. And in order for us to do that, what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be creating a ticket which basically going to summarize all of the steps that we're going to be doing, and then we're going to be jumping into the code and then actually doing the implementation. So first thing first, let us create a new ticket. And this is just a way for us to keep track of the changes that we want to do, and basically we can plan a roadmap based on that. So we're going to create a new task and we're going to say upgrade the application to .NET 6. And basically here what we're going to say is update the main API application as well the class libraries to utilize .NET 6. What we're going to be doing is first we're going to be upgrading the namespace, first upgrading the packages, upgrade the references, then we're going to be basically upgrading the namespace. Then we're gonna actually utilize the new all-in-one startup class, program.cs class, instead of having one startup class and one program.cs, because basically in .NET 6 what they did is they actually merged the startup class and the program.cs class into a single file. So right now there is no need for us to have a startup class because everything can be embedded inside our program.cs. So today we're going to actually be doing this merge and actually completely removing the startup class. And I think that's going to be like the first step to upgrade our application, and then we're going to be starting adding some of the features that .NET 6 provide. Okay, so let's create this ticket. Okay, let's create this. And what we can do as well is let us check here under which epic we want to put. Use health tracker, authenticate. Let's see, view all epics. Okay, let's create a new epic. And this epic basically we're gonna call it project or project maintenance. And under this epic we can put all of the tasks that basically it's not actually adding a new feature, we're just maintaining the project and basically making sure that it's going to be up to the latest standard. This epic will be responsible will include all of the tickets which will be responsible to maintaining the application in the latest frameworks and containing all of the updates. Okay, great. So let's create this. And if we refresh this page right now, we should see here project maintenance. Perfect. Okay, great. Let us check the migration file or the migration steps that Microsoft provided for us online. We can check and we can see the different references that exist there, and we can build an idea of what do we need to implement in order for us to get there. So first thing first, let us open this. I already opened this before, so I'm gonna add this link into the description down below. So basically migrate from ASP.NET Core 5 to 6, that's what we want. We want to use Visual Studio Code. and basically it's telling us first that we need to update the SDK version. That should be good. And then we need to update the target framework, the references. We're going to be utilizing this new hosting model as well. Okay, so far everything seems fine. Okay, migrating, we don't need the minimal hosting. We're going to implement the minimal hosting. We're going to be utilizing the top level statement. Okay, that's all should be fine. Okay, I think we have a good idea. So let us go out to our terminal. And basically we're going to navigate to this project. So cd desktop YouTube, it's going to be, I think, episode 6. Yeah, let's use episode 6. And let's open this inside our code editor. So let's bring this here. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is, let us open new terminal here and let us navigate to the Saha API. Okay, let us just do a .NET build so we can make sure that everything is building as it should be. Okay, we got one warning, but we got build succeeded. Great. So once we have done that, let us open the Saha notebook.api and let us check the CS proj. And we can see here from the CS proj that we are actually still referring to .NET 5. And what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be updating this to .NET 6. So let us go to our web browser and check what's the updated code. So it says here all we need to do is change the target framework to .NET 6. So let's do this right now. So let's copy this and let's go back to Visual Studio Code and let us update this. Okay, that seems fine. Let us update all of these. So let's update all of the CS proj. Okay, so in theory right now, if we did forget something. So prior to this video, I have already downloaded the .NET SDK. So let us see how we can do that .NET 6 SDK. So first we need to check that I have the latest version. So in order for us to do that, we're going to utilize .NET -version. So .NET -version. If we go there, we can see I'm on the latest version, which is 6.0.100, which is great. If we want to get the latest one, let's go to our web browser. And here, let us type .NET SDK. And if we go here, nope, not this one. If we go to this one, and we can check here that the .NET SDK .NET 6, that's the one that we want. And basically we need to download it. So we click on the 64-bit runtime. And it automatically starts downloading to our machine. That's exactly the one we want. So once we have downloaded, or no, I don't really want the runtime, I want the SDK. So, oh, that's SDK for Visual Studio. So that's the wrong download. So if we go here, we can see that we have the .NET SDK, and we can actually download it directly from here. I'll also put this link in the description down below, but make sure you download the .NET 6 SDK before you actually start the upgrade process from .NET 5 to .NET 6. So once we have covered this point, the next step for us is we need to actually update the Nuget packages of our application to the latest one. Before we do that, let us just do a quick .NET build to make sure that the application is still building. Because basically we just changed the framework, so there's going to be a lot of restoration. And we can see here that the build is succeeded, and if we put .NET restore, make sure that all of the packages has been restored. Okay, that's great. So inside our Saha notebook.api, the first thing first is we need to take this packages and we need to go to the Nuget website and to make sure Nuget packages, and we need to check the latest version of those packages. So if we paste the package name here, and we can see If we click on it, we can see the latest version is 6, so we need to utilize the version here 6.0.0. Save. Now let's do this for the second one. Also, it's going to be 0.0, 6.0.0. Then let's take the versioning Nuget package. It's going to be on 5.0.0, so it's going to stay the same. It hasn't been updated. Now let's take this. And it has been updated to 6.0.0. Now let's check the Swagger. And we can see it's already on 6.2.3, so let's take this. Okay, perfect. So this is for the first project. So what we can do, we can just do .NET restore. Okay, great. So we can see that the project has been restored. Now let's go back to the second one. We don't have any Nuget packages here. Here we can actually see that we have, so let's also do the same thing here. So let's copy this one. .0.0. Let's take this one. It is really important for us to make sure that all of our Nuget packages are updated to the latest version, because they can include security updates as well all of the performance update, and it makes it more compatible with the SDK that we are actually utilizing. So let's continue with this. So SQLite. .0.0 as well. Perfect. Okay, let's save this. And the last one is the entities, and we're utilizing the Microsoft ASP.NET Core Identity UI. Let's see if there's an update package for this. 6.0.0 as well. Let's double check. Yep, 6.0.0. So once we do that, let's do .NET restore, and we should restore all of these projects. Okay, perfect. We can see here everything is restored. Now let's do a .NET build just to make sure that everything is building as it should. Okay, let's do .NET run. And right now, if everything went to plan, we should see the different ports on the .NET run, because in .NET 6, this is one of the things that they have changed, where basically it does not directly connect to the port 5000, 5001. There's going to be one port for HTTP, another port for HTTPS. And I think it's going to be one in the 7000, one in the 3000. Oh, it's still 5000. Okay, that should be fine. That's for all new projects, apologies. So let's do this right now, and we can see everything is still working. Let us do a .NET run, and let's open Insomnia. And let us bring this here. So if we go to, where's the Saha notebook? And basically I tried to just change this, so let's put it back to 5001, and let us try to log in. Perfect. We can see that we have our Jwt token being generated, and if we get all users, let us update the header. We should be able to see that we could not connect. Oh yeah, we need to update the, I was just trying to do some tests, so that's why I changed the ports, and we can see that we can get all of the information. Okay, perfect. So let us go back here, let us stop the application. So once we have done all of those, the next step for us is basically we're gonna be trying to remove everything related to the startup class and have everything related to the program.cs. But before also we do that, let us implement the new namespace changes. So basically one of the main things that was included within .NET 6 was the namespaces. So we don't really have to do it in this way. So here we can see that the namespace, it has a curly braces and then beginning and end. So within .NET 6 this has changed. So what we can do is let's delete this and let's go all the way up and let us delete this, and if we just put a semicolon at the end, this means that all of this still belongs to the namespace. So it's not really like a performance, it's more of like a visual organization, and basically it will allow us to have a much more cleaner code. So this is the first one. Let's do the same thing for the base. Delete it from here, delete it from here. Let us fix this and let us add the semicolon. Now let's do the profile as well. Let's remove this. Let's remove this and we'll add a semicolon, and let us take all of this. Okay, let's remove this. And perfect. Now let's do this for the users controller as well. Let's remove this and this, and just take all of this and add a semicolon at the end. Okay, perfect. So once we have done all of this, that's the first thing that we're going to be doing. The next step is, because we have done this here, let's go to the startup class. And inside the startup class, we can see basically all of this information that we need to migrate to the program.cs. And we can do the same thing here inside the program.cs. Is basically, let us just remove this namespace from here, remove this namespace from here, and add it. Okay, great. So before we start changing everything inside our program.cs, we're going to be updating our CS proj in order to include two new features that were introduced with .NET 6, which is going to be the nullable and the implicit using. So let's do this right now. So inside our Saha notebook.api.cs proj, below the target framework, we're going to be adding nullable, which is going to be enabled. And the second one is going to be implicit using. And this is going to be also be enabled. So implicit using, basically it's going to be adding all of the references to any of the packages we're utilizing inside our code. So basically without having the need to have using .microsoft.cs Microsoft.entity framework core for example entities, we don't really have to specify that. ASP.NET Core will be automatically able to detect all of these changes, and basically once it will be able to detect all of these changes, it will automatically add those references for us, so we don't really have to add them inside our file. In certain instances we still need to do that. The implicit using currently does not cover all of the packages, so there's certain packages that are automatically covered out of the box, but there's other packages that we still it's not really covered yet, so we actually still need to use the using .microsoft so on and so forth. So this is just something that we can utilize in order for us to make our code a bit more neater and a bit more easier to read. And the second point, which is nullable, the nullable attribute will be able to give us additional compile time safety when utilizing references, and protect us from additional null type exception. So that's all gonna be automated for us with the .NET 6. We don't have to do anything. All of these extra checks will be provided for us out of the box. So once we have added these, now we need to go back to our program.cs and start updating it. So inside our program.cs, let us delete everything. And we're gonna start with a blank canvas, basically. So first thing first, as everything within .NET 6, we need to create a builder. So var builder equal web applications dot create builder, and we're gonna pass the args. So what is this doing? First, let us see if we can need to finish this. Okay, let's come here, builder, let's save this. First, let us do a .NET build, because basically we added those stuff to our CS project but did not build the application. Okay, .NET is building. Perfect, now let's delete this. I want to see if this will automatically be able to be picked up. Save. No, not yet. Okay, so it's going to be args, as we said before, and let's fix those references here. Okay, great. So why did we add this right now? Because as we know, any .NET Core application or ASP.NET Core application, in essence, it's a console application. And basically we add to it some information in order for us to be able to convert it from a console application to a web application. And this is exactly what we're doing here. Utilizing the top level statements, we are basically creating a web application from our console application, and we're creating a builder for it. And then what we're going to be utilizing this builder for is to utilize it for any of the dependency injection, for any of our middlewares, so on and so forth. So that's the first thing. So we have created the builder. Once we have created the builder, now we need to add some of the services that we're going to be utilizing. And one of the first services is going to be adding controller support. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to be adding. So previously, all of this were happening inside the startup.cs. So inside the startup.cs, we were adding, for example, add controller inside those services. So it will know that it's a MVC project that has controller. But right now, we don't really have to do that. We can directly do it from the program.cs. So it's going to be builder.services.add-controllers. So that's going to be the first one. Let's see here. Why is it complaining? Utilizing dependency injection. Okay, perfect. So once we have done that, the next step for us is basically we're going to be adding some of the configuration that we already have inside our startup.cs. So let's go to our startup.cs and let us start taking bits by bits from here and actually start injecting it inside our program.cs. So the first thing that we can see here is this one, our Jwt configuration. So let us copy this and let us go to the program.cs and let us paste it here. So this will not work out of the box. We need to do some changes in order for us to make it compliant. So first thing is we need to add the builder, and then we need to make the service capital. We need to add references to the Jwt config. And basically here for the configuration also, what we need to do is we need to actually utilize the builder as well. So save, it's gonna be here, builder.configuration. Perfect. So let's go back to the startup.cs and let's do the same thing for the DB context. And let's go back to the program. Let's paste it here. Let's add here some comments. The DB context for the API. So it's gonna be builder.services, and let us fix those references. And here it's gonna be builder.use configuration. Okay. Got connection string. I wonder why. Okay, of course we need to have extra references. Perfect. So once we have done that, let's go back to our startup.cs and continue. Let's add our unit of work. Let's go back to the program.cs. Adding so it's gonna be builder.services.add scope. Let's fix those references. Perfect. Let us do a quick build to make sure that everything is still building. Okay, great. So let's go back to our startup.cs And let us skip these for now because we're gonna go back later for the Swagger. We have already added the controller. Let's take the API versioning. Okay, let us fix this. And builder.services. And we need to add the references here. And let us add a comment enabling API versioning. Great. Back to startup.cs. We need to get this for our Jwt configuration. And let us take all of this. Identity, let's take all of this. So let's go back to our program.cs. Let's paste this here. And let us fix the layout. Okay, encoding, let us fix this one using system.text. So here is gonna be builder.configuration. Let us fix the references. Again, okay, this all should work. Builder.services. Builder.services. Let us remove this, fix the references, sorry, and then latest here we're gonna put builder.services. Let us fix those references and let us save this. Okay, it looks decent. So let us actually build this application. So .NET build. Okay, great. Once we have done that, now we need to actually continue and actually migrate the configure. Because right now what we did is we actually migrated everything from the configure services except the Swagger file, which we're going to be doing. The next step for us is going to be actually migrating the configure method. And also it's going to be a very easy way to migrate it. So let's go back to our program.cs. And the first thing that we're going to be adding right now is we're going to be adding Swagger. So let's see how we're going to be adding that. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go to builder.services.add endpoint API explorer. So that's the first thing we want to add. And the second one is going to be builder.services.add Swagger generation. So basically these couple of lines here are they're gonna replace all of this here. Where is it? Okay, this three lines are gonna be replaced by the endpoint explorer API, which is something gonna be built in by Microsoft for us. And basically here we're gonna adding the Swagger library. So once we have done that, now let's us compare one thing and let us discuss one thing before we continue. So if we go back to the startup.cs, we can see that inside our configure services method, we are actually utilizing the services. And basically this is the iServices collection, which basically utilizes the dependency injection, so on and so forth. And basically because we are using that, we need to actually add this information of services before our application gets built. So basically we are injecting and doing all of the dependency injection that we want, all of them before we can actually start our application and actually building it. So here we can see that inside the services, we're adding our DB contacts, our configure API versioning, our Jwt configuration, because all of this information needs to be available for us before the application starts and before all of the requests start coming in, and we can actually utilize all of this from the initialization of the application. On the other hand, inside the configure method, we have the app. And basically the app here, it means that once we have built this, we can actually add middlewares to that. And all of these middlewares, we can actually utilize them after the application starts. So once the application starts, we have like a flow of all of the middlewares that they're gonna execute. They're gonna execute on certain orders. If you don't know what middlewares, I have a different video where I go into depth into what are middlewares. I'm gonna link it here somewhere. But basically it will allow inside the configure method, we are able to add all of the middlewares that we want. So similar to what we have here, we're going to be having here inside the program.cs. So we can see here inside, we are still within the builder process. So while we are building our application, we are adding all of these dependency injection on all of our services to our application. The next step for us is we need to now add all of the middlewares for it. So how do we do that? Very simple. Because we need to actually build our application in order for us to start accessing those middlewares, we're going to be actually building this web builder that we have. So it's going to be var app equal builder.build. So basically what we're doing here, if we hover above this one, we can see it says it builds the web application. What it means is it's preparing the web application for us to utilize. So, and it's actually returning an app. And once we have this app here, let's add a comment. Builds the web application. And basically once we have this app, and this app, if we look at it, because we named it this way, it's going to be very similar to the app that we have here inside the web application builder. And we can see it's the same, almost the same thing here. So we have here the interface for application builder, and here we have the actual web application builder that we are utilizing. So we can actually directly, and if we do the one-to-one link together, we can see that we can actually utilize this app in order for us to add all of the middlewares that we actually want. So let's go back to the program.cs, and basically let us start to add all of the middlewares that we want. So the first thing is going to be basically the development. So if app.environment.isDevelopment, the is, I think, needs to be capital. That's correct. So we need to add the reference and use developer exception page, and basically we're going to be utilizing the Swagger app.use Swagger, and we're going to be app.use Swagger UI, because we don't really want to utilize Swagger on production, only we want to use it in development mode. So that's the first thing. Second, we're going to be utilizing some of the redirection stuff that we have. So let's go back here and check. So here we can see use HTTPS redirection. Let's utilize the same thing. So it's going to be app.use HTTPS redirection. Then, because we are utilizing Jwt, so we have authorization and authentication, so we need to add those as well. So app.use authorization, and remember here that order really matters, so we need to start always with authorization, and then we need to put the authentication. So it's going to be authentication then authorization. Authorization, and this is going to be authentication. Okay, let's make sure that this is the same logic here, authentication and then authorization. Perfect. So now let's go back here, and once we have done all of those, basically we need, if we look at the startup.cs, we see that we are actually mapping the endpoints, and basically we're doing all of those. So we need to do the same thing inside our program.cs. So if we come here, it's going to be something like app.map controllers. And lastly, once we have built our application and once we have added all of our middlewares there, we need to actually run the app. So it's going to be app.run, and that's it. So now let us build this application. .NET build. Great. .NET run. Let's see if there's any runtime error. Everything is working. Let's go back to our Insomnia. And basically let us try to log in again with the same username. And we got a brand new Jwt token. Let's take this. Let us get all users. So let's update this again. Send. Great. Let us get a profile. Let's see here. We're getting the profile for the logged in user. Because we need to update this token. Perfect. We are getting this profile. If we want to update this profile, let's update this, utilize this. And let us update this from Detroit, Michigan, USA. Let's put Detroit, LA. Let's put LA. Or we can put LA, USA. And let us send this. and we can see the address has changed. Let us try to update the phone number. Let's add 222, sorry, let's add 222, and let us send this, and we can see we have 222 there. Okay, great. So now we are 100% confident that our application is running under the new .NET 6, which is great. So let us try one more thing, which is let's go back and get the profile, and let us see if everything comes back as it should. Perfect. So basically today what we have covered is actually the migration process from .NET 5 to .NET 6. There's also other references on the Microsoft website if we're going to update from .NET 3.1 to .NET 6. Both are LTS version. If we're going to update from 2.1 to 3.1 to .NET 6 and so on and so forth. Even there is like a migration tool that Microsoft provides for us if we're actually still utilizing the original .NET framework MVC. And basically it gives us the compatibility version if we want to update directly from the .NET framework to .NET Core 6. So let's do a quick summary of what we have covered today. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. And basically the first thing is what we did is we went to our startup, to our CS approach. And basically what we did is we have updated the target framework to .NET 6. Then we have updated all of the packages in order for us to be on the latest version, which is compatible with .NET 6. And then from here, actually, we forgot to do one thing, which actually completely removing the startup class before. Before we do the summary and continue our summary, let's delete our startup class. And let us run an application without the startup class, because that's a really important, that's the main reason we did all of this migration. So let's do .NET run. The application is still running. Let's go to our Insomnia, and basically let us try to log in again. Perfect. We got our token, and let us get the profile. And we got the information. Let us update the profile. Let's put Beirut. And let's update this. And we can see that we have Beirut here. If we get profile, we should see Beirut. Perfect. So that was one of the main reasons that we did the migration to program.cs, so we can remove the startup class, which we actually did, and it's working. So now let's go back to the summary. So first thing first is we have updated the target framework, and then we have updated all of the packages, not only for the main application API, but also all of the class library that you're actually utilizing it as well. So all of them right now are on .NET 6. And then once we have done that, we have added these nullable, which basically protect us from the null reference exceptions. And then we have added the implicit usings in order for the using to be directly injected into our application without actually having the need of writing using .microsoft so on and so forth. But this is also available right now for certain Nuget packages, not available for everything. But the more that developers add this, so the more it's going to be supported out of the box. So once we have done all of that, what we did inside our controllers, we have just utilized the new namespace. So instead of having namespace, curly bracket, and inside everything inside of it, we're just utilizing the namespace with a semicolon. We have updated all of those controllers to utilize this. And once we have done all of that, what we did here actually is we start migrating all of the stuff from our from our startup class, which we have right now deleted it, into the program.cs. And basically what we did is we deleted everything from the program.cs and we started. So first we started by creating our web application, and from there we started adding all of our dependency injection, and we have configured all of our services from like the JWT to our DB contacts to our authorization and adding our controller. Once we have done all of that, what we did is we actually built the application. So we can see here builder.build, and then we have actually added all of our middlewares, and then we have configured our middlewares as we normally do. And right now we can see even inside our Soha notebook.api, we don't really have anymore a startup class because everything is actually embedded inside the program.cs. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for watching. Please ask all of your questions in the comments down below. And please like, share and subscribe if you like this video. It will really help the channel. Have a good day.